What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on a recent post that I seen of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, he named his dream team, right? And he has some greats on there. And what I want to talk about, not first, I want to talk about the people that Michael Jordan put on his team, but then I also want to speak about like who do you think or who do I think might be able to um give this team right here a run for their money. That would be that it'll be tough. So first, let me show you who Mike picked as his dream team, right? And so he picked Magic Johnson, Scottie Pippen, Larry Bird, Hakeem Olajuwon, and himself as the dream team. And as you know, this it's an impressive team, right? All Hall of Famers. Each one of these guys are good at, excellent at what they do. Magic as a point guard, like in my opinion, Magic is the greatest point guard in the history of the game. If you ask me, that's Magic Johnson, right? Um, nobody can touch Magic Johnson as far as being the point guard. And then so number two on the list, you got Scottie Pippen, right? And so now what Scottie Pippen on this team right here, Scottie wouldn't have to facilitate, right? Scottie would mainly just be like a defensive stopper, like is the whoever is the premier scorer on the other team that they're going against, Scottie would be Scottie would get that number one assignment, right? Um, and also Scottie being a slasher, him and Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson, that would, they would definitely run that break. And so that'll be good with Scottie Pippen. Then you got Larry Bird. Man, Larry Bird is like one of the greatest shooters of all time, one of the greatest passers of all time. Um, a pretty good defender, especially team defense, right? Right. So you know, with Larry Bird, you wouldn't have to worry about Larry Bird or getting beat, off the dribble because all of these guys are great defensively. You got Hakeem Olajuwon anchoring down the the middle. Mike, excellent defender and can hold his own. Same thing with Magic Johnson. I think Magic Johnson is a very good team defender too, just like Larry Bird. Like on ball defender, they probably about average or a little bit better than average. But as far as being team defenders, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, in the half court, were very good at defense, shooting the lanes and getting steals and stuff like that. Also, Larry Bird would be great on the boards with Hakeem Olajuwon helping down in the paint. That's crazy. And then you got Hakeem Olajuwon. And the thing about Hakeem Olajuwon, everybody know that he is um offensively one of the best centers to have ever played the game. His footwork and then he could step away from the basket and make the mid-range shot. But he really didn't shoot too many mid-range jumpers. So you wouldn't have to worry about Hakeem Olajuwon shooting any you know, too many jumpers. And then you got Mike, right? So Mike he would play defense on like the second best scorer on the team, most likely. He would take that challenge. And so that would be tough. So if you're going against this team, your number one and your number two best scorer will be locked, you know what I mean? Like would be locked down by Mike and Scotty, and then by the time you get to your number three, say if you had a center, like the center position was your strongest position on your team, then you got to go against Hakeem Olajuwon. And you know, Magic Johnson, I think Magic Johnson definitely would dominate the point guard. So this team right here would be in my opinion, they would be very tough to beat. right? But let's say if you had another team, you put up another team to go up against them. So the next best thing I would think would be to take like the number two player that you would think at their position. So say for instance, if you had Isaiah Thomas at the point guard, right? You had Isaiah, then you would have Clyde Drexler. I think Clyde um, would be great. Who else would you have? I think that that you would have to have that would give these guys a run. You have Isaiah, Clyde, the center. You would probably have to go with Shaq, Kobe. So you got Isaiah at guard. Clyde probably, Clyde would play the two. Kobe, no, Kobe would be at the two. Clyde could be the small forward. Then you got Shaq. And then let me see, who else would you have to put up in there just to be able to give Mike and that team a tough run? Maybe Karl Malone. Yeah, maybe Karl Malone. So you got a guard, you got the small forward, you got the shooting guard, you got the center, then you got the Karl Malone, or if not Karl Malone, you can go with Tim Duncan, right? And I think Tim even sounds better. But this team right here, I think will get him a run. But now I'm just going like off the top of my head, right? I think it would be just so hard to put a team together. Like, and you don't even have to choose from like the 90s era. You could choose for like maybe you want to go with Steph Curry, and LeBron James and Kevin Durant. Like but to me, like say for instance, if you want to the guard position, you go like today, who's a great guard in today's game that could probably rival all right, LeBron James, Steph Curry, uh Kevin Durant, Giannis, and who would you have at center? Wow. In today's game, who's a great center? And maybe Joel Embiid, I would think. And Joel, it would be tough though. In my opinion, it would be tough to put a team together from today's because of the physicality. Not that though I don't think that these guys were talented, but I just think that you got like on Michael Jordan's team, you got guys they just like great two-way players. Like everybody on this team with Michael Jordan on his dream team, everybody's like a two-way player. And so in today's game, you don't ever all of these guys are not two-way players. So you will be giving up a whole lot. Like Steph Curry, in my opinion, is not a two-way player. As a guard, as a two guard, or even as a point guard, Steph Curry is not a two-way player. Isaiah from back, I'm not even going with that list, but Kevin Durant defense to me like is not all that good. LeBron James, his defense to me is not all that good. Um, Man, yeah, I don't know if you could put five together from today's era, that would rival or be able to beat these guys right here. I don't see that happening. But this team that Mike put together, I just think is they would be tough to beat. I'm not saying that they would be, that they would go undefeated and nobody would be able to ever beat them, but they would surely be tough to beat. And yeah, so I like the team that Mike put together. Yeah, but let me know what you think. Like, who do you think will be able to compete with that team that Mike put together? And yeah, with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment, and I will check you out in the next video.